Alright guys, welcome back to the Wiser Dude Workshop. So today what we got is a crucible full of dross, and this is a mixture of copper, brass, aluminum, and even some pewter. There's some pewter in there as well. So we got 4 different metals in there, and then these are aluminum bronze. You can see this one's thicker than this one. They're thin. This one's thin, but neither of them are a full bar, and neither of them are the same color exactly. So the way we're gonna fix that, right, is we're gonna melt them together, and then they'll be the same. You know, all of it'll mix together, and then they'll be the same. But we're also gonna melt this first, and then whatever metal comes out of this dross, it won't be a lot, but whatever comes out of here, then we'll melt it with these two, and we'll try to get a full bar, a full golden bar, and it should be all the same consistency. Because you know me, man, you know when I'm out here doing stuff, I'm drinking, so I don't get my my measurements right or exact every time. But the way we can fix that is melt them together, you know, and they'll even each other out. So the first thing we're going to do is melt this dross. And there shouldn't be a lot of metal left in here, maybe a little bit. Even though the crucible's full, it's dross, you know, it's not all metal. A lot of it's impurities. But the metal will sink to the bottom and the dross will float to the top, and then I can pull that out and just be left with the liquid metal. So we'll take a look over here, see what this this bar is more copper than my normal mixture is 10% aluminum and 90% copper, but this one has more copper in it than that. That's why the color is darker. So that's 2 pounds, almost 1 ounce, 2 pounds and 1 ounce. All right, now this is a lighter metal. That means it has less copper and more aluminum. So this is probably like 85% copper and 15% aluminum. And that's almost 14 ounces. So we're gonna melt those together. Wiser Dude. Cheers. All right, so we're gonna fire up the furnace. Let me grab this camera stand. And we'll get cooking. This is a little piece of toilet paper. I just light this and throw it in. And then I turn on the propane. Put the lid on. And crank it up to full blast. For about 20 minutes. I'll pause the recording and then we'll get it back on in a second. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. pour. And this is the dross from the aluminum, the copper, the brass, and the pewter. Now I'm not interested in making a full bar because I'm going to melt this again in a minute. Alright, so that's how it came out. It's very brittle. See, it broke in half when I took it out of that mold. But that doesn't matter. We're going to cool it off, and then we're going to melt the other bars with it and mix them all together. Well, then it won't be brittle anymore. Alright, so this is the metal that came out of the dross melt. So you can see it's mostly pewter and aluminum. It's kind of darker, so it does have some copper and brass mixed in there. Alright, so what we're going to do is take all of these pieces, these 4 pieces, 2 bars, and those 2 little pieces. We're going to mix them all together. That sounds good to me. Alright, now we're going to melt them all together and they'll even out. It should be a very nice golden color. We're going to see. Hang on. This is going to take another 20 minutes. So I'll go ahead and pause the recording. Fire it back up. Alright guys, we're getting ready to pour. Check this out. That is going to be a very beautiful bar. What I'm doing now is trying to loosen up the dross that's stuck to the inside of the crucible. If you loosen it up while it's still hot, it makes it much easier to take it out. Once it cools, it gets stuck on there really good. So I always try to loosen up the dross, whatever's stuck to the inside of the crucible. I try to do that when it's still hot. It just makes it cleaning it up easier. And you can see there's still a bunch of dross inside of there. But alright. Gonna pause the recording. We'll let that cool, and then we'll do a cleaning up process. Alright guys, this is the bar we came out with. It's super hot still. We're gonna put in some water. I'm gonna try not to drop it. It is really, really hot. This is probably one of the prettiest bars I've made so far. There's a lot of different metals in there. There's aluminum, pewter, brass, copper. Since brass is copper and zinc, there's also zinc in there. So it's like 5 different metals all mixed together. And I can't tell you the percentages because I don't know. I'm usually drinking when I'm mixing metals, so. But I can tell you that that is one of the prettiest bars I've ever made. I don't know if it's cool enough for me to touch it yet. It's still a little warm. But that is beautiful. Let me get a glove and we'll take it outside into the sunlight. So here is the bar in the sunlight. That thing is so pretty, guys. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're gonna go back inside and clean it up a little bit. That is really pretty, guys. I could hit it with the sander. Alright guys, here's what it looks like now after it's been wire wheeled